So it's been a year. It's been a whole 525,600 minutes. Although actually it's been more than that because there was a leap year this year, so there's an extra day, so that's like an extra 1,400 something something, and the song doesn't work. The point is, it's been a year. And in that year, as some of you long-term followers may have already seen, or some of you newer followers may just be catching up on, I have posted a new photo to my Instagram every single day for the entire year. 366 photos throughout the entirety of 2024. Never missing a day, never missing a beat, maybe less so on that one, but definitely never missing a day. And then the past sort of 200 and so have also ended up on Threads, which that's a whole separate app with a whole separate conversation, but I'm sure people are wondering, what have I learned from this process? And importantly, am I planning on doing it again for 2025? The answer to all of that will be revealed at the end of this video. So that's like a hook, right? It's like, you gotta keep people watching. That's how you do it, right? So let's go over some things. Item number one, as it were. The importance of being scheduled and organized. I absolutely could not have gone through this year, this challenge, without having an incredibly meticulous system in my Google Drive folder setup. It is organized by month, and then it is labeled very, very clearly as to which photo you are posting on that day. That also kind of leads me into my second point, I guess this is point 1.5, that all of this has been off of a buffer. If I was trying to do the hard mode version of this challenge, which was taking a new photo every single day, finding time in the day every single day to go and make some art, and then posting it on the same day, I don't think that would have been possible with the other things that I was trying to do in my life. So, a lot of the time it would be a case of, I've gone out for a day of photography, I've gotten 5 or 6 or 7 really great shots, cool. That's got me covered for a week. Let's label that, let's organize that, let's go through that, edit everything together, and put it in a comp, pre-write the captions, so then the daily post element can actually be a lot simpler. Learning number 2 is being selective. Obviously, I'm taking more photos than I am posting. Not every single time you press the shutter button, you are going to come out with something that you love. There is a lot of trial and error involved, especially when a lot of what I've been doing is street photography, travel photography, that sort of genre. So you're not always going to hit something that you like every single time you go and make a photograph. In fact, I would say probably about 70% of the time you're not going to be totally happy with the end result. And that means that you've got to be quite selective. And that can be a hard process, especially when you know that you are trying to hit a buffer of, 366 photos over the course of a year. So you know that you've got to make a lot of photos, but you also know that you can't just be posting any old rubbish that you happen to come across. So it's been a bit of a case of having to reject some things and just be honest with myself and okay, that is not good enough to post, that one didn't come out the way I wanted it to, or of these 4 similar frames I've taken, this is the best one, then that's what's ended up on the grid. So it's, in a way, been an evolution of how my year has gone, expressed through how I see things with my camera. Learning number 3 is where we come on to the algorithm. The lovely, fun algorithm. I spent the first few months of this year trying to work that one out, and you're posting to Instagram and you see all sorts of tips of you have to check when your followers are the most active and post at the same time of day and use this many hashtags but not too many, and then the boss of Instagram makes a post that says that the hashtags literally do nothing, and then the way that the algorithm works changes halfway through the year. And I realized around about end of March, start of April, kind of that time of year, about that much into the challenge, that attempting to understand the way that algorithms work is a bit like trying to understand an eldritch terror, in that you probably could do it if you were willing to study the dark arts but you would almost certainly drive yourself to madness, and it just isn't worth it. And once I had that realization, I think I became a lot happier. The original goal of this was for me to share more of my own art. I'm not attempting to hit 1 billion followers in a year, although if that happened, I wouldn't complain. I'm not attempting to hit 1 billion followers in a year. I'm attempting to showcase more of my art and put more of my artistic expression and the way that I see the world out there into the public eye. Hitting an algorithm goal was never the point. So I'm glad that I learned to not care about that early in the process, because I think if I had tried to dedicate too much time into understanding it, I probably wouldn't have the mental strength left to still be making this video. Related to this is point number 4, or learning number 4, if we're sticking on theme. When you get something that you can consider a win throughout this process, when I've had something like that, it feels really good. It's a ridiculous dopamine hit. Of course it is. If one of your photos is suddenly performing at the case of hundreds of likes, or it's getting reshared by a popular page with credit back to you, and you wake up one morning and you go, oh, I've picked up 63 new followers overnight. I think that was the personal record, probably for this photo that I'll put in frame, or possibly that one. It would have been one of those two that got the sudden spike. But the times that happens is entirely random, it's entirely out of your control, and sometimes the photos that you post will just hit, and they'll just connect with people in a way that you weren't expecting them to, and that's great, and it feels really, really good. And the important learning through all of this is that when that doesn't happen every single day, you can't let that get you down. Because just because something doesn't find a wide audience doesn't mean that people didn't like it, and it doesn't mean that it's not a valuable piece of art. As if you think about sharing your work to any sort of social media platform, it is ephemeral, it is temporary. People will see it and they will scroll past it. And if something is only getting 10, 14, 15, 30 likes, if whatever your average is, if it's lower than your average, all of those people that liked your post have still basically taken the time out of their scrolling to actually go and double tap it and say that they like it. And it's not much, but that does still mean something. If my work was hanging in a gallery and 3 or 4 people came up to me and said, oh, I really love that. That's a really great photograph. You'd be absolutely buzzing off that. You'd be buzzing off that for weeks. So if some of your work doesn't get as much attention as other parts of your work, that's not a bad thing. It's still getting people that have taken their time out to say that they love it, and that's great. Learning number 5 is that it's fun. It's been really fun. That's the key takeaway here. I have had a really great time doing this. I enjoyed it much more than I thought that I would. I thought it would be a bit of a everyday anxiety of putting myself out there a little bit more, and it was amazing how quickly that went away and how I just started to really love the process instead. So really, that is the biggest learning. It's been really good fun, and I've really, really loved every single day of it. Even the photos that I wasn't as personally happy with, even the times where, for example, I was sick halfway through the year and one of my photos had to end up being a packet of medicine that I still managed to make look as artistic as possible, because leaving the house to go and take any other kind of photograph would have been too much for me on that day, and my buffer had run out. Even that was still fun, because despite being sick at the time, I could still find the comedy in that. Find the fun. Express yourself, do what you love, and the love will come back to you, because it is a really great time. So what are my plans for 2025? Am I doing this again? Is the question I've already had so many people ask, and I'm sure it's what everyone is thinking when they watch this video. And the answer to that is no. I'm not doing this again. Not because I haven't loved it, not because I don't want to do it again, not because it's been too much of a process or anything like that. I really have enjoyed it. I just want to do something different. And what I'm going to be doing instead is focusing on three different things. I'm still going to be active on Instagram and Threads, obviously. I'm too much embedded in that now to stop anytime soon. But I want to be making more curated content. I want to be using more photo sets, because one of the downsides I have found of only posting one image a day to keep within the confines of the challenge is that sometimes I have been somewhere where you want to tell more of a story across a photo set. You want to have an establishing shot, you want to have your wide angle, you want to have a few close-ups, you want to have some detail shots, you want to get more of a storytelling of a place, of an event, of, you know, whatever you're trying to capture. Sometimes one frame's not enough, sometimes you want 3, 4, 5 in a curated set, and there have been things that I've just not posted because it's like, well, I can't find one, I can't just pick one of these images because it doesn't tell the full story, and then posting it over 3 or 4 days doesn't feel right to do, so I've just kind of kept them in the back catalogue, and I'm thinking, maybe I want to do more like that, and instead of doing daily posts, it'll be a couple of times a week, or if I'm much busier with other things, maybe it'll be a little less than that, but when I do post, it'll be a more curated, more considered experience that is attempting to tell a story with every post. Goal number 2 for 2025 is more professional work. I'm just going to say this on this video, I'm going to manifest it, we're going to see if it happens. I want to work on more weddings. I've done some, I want to do more, I want to get more bookings for 2025. I've loved it, I really want to do more. I want to work with more clients, I want to do more portraiture, I want to do more product photography, all of that sort of thing. We're manifesting that, we're putting it on video, let's see if we can make it happen. Goal number 3 for 2025, and this is the final one, and this is relevant to especially the people watching this. I want to do more YouTube. I did a little bit of YouTube this year. I had a couple of videos which I didn't have as much time to dedicate to make as nice as I wanted to, but they were okay and it was a good start. And I want to do more. I want to start talking about gear a bit more often, because I feel like YouTube is a good place for that as opposed to any other platform, because people actually will sit down and watch someone ramble about a lens for 25 minutes. So I want to do some of that. I want to do some more street photography videos like I've done before. I want to cover more of my artistic process and my thoughts around making art in the modern era. So watch this space, hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned. That's all for me for now. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you to everyone for following along on my 366-day madness challenge. I really do hope you've enjoyed it. If this is the first time you're seeing this content, then welcome aboard. Links to see my photographs are down in the description box, as you would expect. And stay tuned. There is plenty more where this came from. Have a really great 2025. I'll see you soon. Peace out.